Talk about a wild week of football we've had. We saw a new Heisman winner crowned. NFL divisional rivals going head-to-head to claim the top spot. Plenty of top plays and even more not top plays. All that and much more up ahead on Goal Line Stand. Hello everyone, my name is Colby Nolan, and to my right I have my co-host Mike Hossie, and this is Goal Line Stand, the one-stop shop for everything football.
What a great weekend of football we've just had, but before we get into the NFL playoff races, the college football playoff matchups have been set, and as the committee put out to us, Colby, some conference championship games matter more than others, but for the teams that made it in, they certainly earned their way in.
Absolutely. We saw some teams get bumped out of the top four. Some teams sneaking into the top four to make it into the playoffs. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I'm excited for New Year's Eve for the two games.
Yeah, I think those college football playoff matchups on New Year's Eve are going to be something to watch as we look ahead to the top five and see how the college football playoff rankings actually finally settled after the conference championship games. You see Alabama, number one. They win the SEC championship over Florida. They'll take on Washington, who beat Colorado 41-10 in the Pac-12 title game. Those two teams will face off in the Peach Bowl on New Year's Eve. Fiesta Bowl New Year's Eve night has number 2 Clemson, champions of the ACC, against Ohio State, who didn't even win the Big Ten East, but the committee thought they did just enough with only one loss against Penn State to make it into the playoff, and you see Penn State at number 5, champions of the Big Ten.
Yeah, absolutely. Alabama just keeping their crown at the top spot. They've been dominant the whole season. You got to expect that.
Only 2 games decided by 10 points or less.
Dominating.
14 non-offensive touchdowns. It's just crazy how many ways Alabama can score.
Do you think Washington even stands a chance in the Peach Bowl?
I mean, I think they do. I mean, they're a good team. Chris Pearson's done a great job in Seattle with the Huskies, bringing them back into national relevance for the first time in probably at least 15 years. Jake Browning's a great sophomore quarterback. John Ross is a great wide receiver. Their defense is no slouch either. But again, you look at Alabama, just how they've been rolling all year. But again, you look at some of the other teams in this mix too. Ohio State with J.T. Barrett, he's a great quarterback with a lot of weapons on that offense as well. That'll be probably the most closer game. But again, you see Jake Browning here for Washington with John Ross as his top wideout. They could probably match Alabama's score for score. It's just whether their defense can match up and get the stops they need.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll tell you one thing. I'm most excited for the Fiesta Bowl. The Clemson Tigers coming up against Ohio State Buckeyes. That's going to be the game to watch.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be a close one because you have two teams that definitely could make the final playing each other. We just saw there Ohio State's one loss to Penn State on a blocked field goal. Clearly the committee thought that wasn't enough for them to say they're out, Penn State should be in. Just because Penn State got hot at the right time, and they had to come back from being 21 down in the Big Ten title game to beat Ohio State.
Absolutely. So all 4 of these coaches, especially the top 2, Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban, storied careers. Absolutely, they deserve having the 2 best teams.
Yeah, and you see what Clemson can do here, how balanced they are on offense with Wayne Gallman, the running back. Tyler Leggett, their wide receiver, Deshaun Watson, who can really throw the ball downfield, you see right there. And their defense forces a lot of turnovers as well. I mean, though Clemson's turnover margin was 0 for the year, they still forced 24 turnovers.
Will we see a rematch of last year's championship game?
I think we could. Clemson's a really good team. Remember, last year's championship game was a 5-point game. Alabama won 45-40 in what turned out to be a shootout.
Absolutely. So we took a look at the top 5. Let's see 6 through 10. So number 6, Michigan, got bumped out of the top 5. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's deserved. Again, they didn't win the Big Ten. Penn State did, so they deserve to move up. You look at the rest of the top 10. Oklahoma, winners of the Big 12, they deserve to be 7. Wisconsin, Colorado, both deserve to move down because they lost their respective conference championship games. You see USC at 9, probably one of the hotter teams in college football right now with the way they ended the season. I think they won 7 or 8 games in a row and had a dominant win over Notre Dame to finish the year.
Yeah, I absolutely love seeing USC sneaking into the top 10. They caught a hot streak, but they caught it at the wrong time. Just too late in the season to make any more noise.
Yeah, but that should be a fun Rose Bowl with them against Penn State.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so moving on from the playoffs, over the weekend we saw a new Heisman winner get crowned. Louisville quarterback Lamar Jackson became the youngest Heisman winner in history at the age of 19 years and 335 days, and the first ever to win it from Louisville. This guy was an electric factory all season. Ever since the first game, he's been making highlight plays. Did he deserve it?
I think he did. I think in a year where there really wasn't one standout player that really went out and grabbed it, he was the one that did. The rest of the guys that were finalists, they had great years. They just didn't have the type of plays and highlight factor that Lamar Jackson had this year. And as we'll see coming up, he does it all. He's the best dual threat quarterback in the nation. He showed why, throwing for over 3,000 yards, rushing for 1,500. It's just an incredible year. And in a year where there are a lot of guys that had good seasons, he had the one standout year, and that's why he got the award.
Yeah. Like you right here, right when he leaped over that defender, I think that was the first game. A highlight play. Everyone was saying that's going to be play of the year. But as you said, he's absolutely dual threat. He threw for over 3,000 yards, actually 3,390 yards, 30 touchdowns. He ran the ball 234 times for 1,538 yards and 21 touchdowns. This guy, he scored 51 touchdowns this season.
And if there's one thing Bobby Petrino knows how to do, it's recruit offensive players. You see all the talent around him as well, these wide receivers that can just run 20 yards past their corner that's defending them to get open. It's just here on this play against Marshall. There's just nobody within 10 yards of this wide receiver running down the field for the touchdown. Lamar Jackson's a great player. You just got to wonder, though, if all the running he does is going to have some wear and tear on him going ahead over the next couple of years. He's not NFL draft eligible yet, but after next year, if he puts him another season of 3,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing, what will that put on his body heading into the NFL draft in 2 years?
Absolutely. So would you say that he's a favorite for next year since he's not old enough to declare for the draft?
I mean, you got to think so. Even if Louisville loses a lot of players on offense, Bobby Petrino's just going to replenish that offense. I mean, Louisville led the nation in scoring offense this year. All of the records that Lamar Jackson broke, clearly he's going to be the favorite. Because remember, no one's repeated as Heisman winner since Archie Griffin in 1975. And there really haven't been that many guys that have had the chance to. There have all been guys that have been juniors that went to the NFL, or guys like Manziel and Watson, or Jameis Winston, rather, that were redshirt freshmen. So he's got a chance. If he could put up another big year, the only thing that'll be a change is if somebody comes out of nowhere and just has a monster season like he did this year and snipes him for it.
Yeah, I'm absolutely excited to see him next year. Hopefully he could follow up this year with next year with just an electric year.
Yeah, and you look at some of the other guys that won it. That were finalists. Deshaun Watson didn't quite have the year he did last year when he threw for 4,100 yards. He only threw for 3,900 this year. Baker Mayfield had a great year. He completed over 70% of his passes, had 38 touchdowns. But he led Oklahoma to double-digit losses against Houston and Ohio State, and that just kind of puts you behind the eight ball early in a Heisman race when you lose those high-profile, nationally televised games like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jackson, he almost doubled Deshaun Watson in points given for Heisman voting. Jackson got 2,144 and almost doubled Watson. He was the clear favorite.
Yeah, I think clearly it shows that in a year of not really a good class of Heisman finalists, Lamar Jackson was just that much better than everybody else.
Definitely. So the bowl game that Louisville is in, LSU, Louisville. Who you got?
I think that's going to be an interesting game. I think Louisville probably wins it, but I think it'll be interesting to see who gets more rushing yards, Lamar Jackson or Leonard Fournette.
I think that's the matchup everyone wants to see. Everyone's going to be watching those two players.
It's probably the best of the non-New Year's Six bowl games, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
All right, it's time for our first break, but coming up, we'll delve into Week 14 of the NFL. We'll talk about the division leaders, the wild card contenders, and who we think are going to make the playoffs. All that and more coming up right here on Goal Line Stand. Goal Line Stand is brought to you by Gatorade. An athlete is always an athlete, so hydrate like one. Welcome back to Goal Line Stand. Let's move on to Week 14 of the NFL. After this past week's games, it's crunch time for many teams who are trying to get their way into the playoffs.
You're absolutely right, Mike. We saw plenty of divisional rivals going head-to-head. Up first, we had Thursday Night Football, the Oakland Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in a battle for the AFC West. And boy, do I love those color rush uniforms. Let's get into the highlights. In the second quarter, we have Tyreek Hill back to receive the punt. Catches it and blows right past the Raiders, right into the end zone. He really turned on the boosters for that one.
Amazing he beat the punter.
Exactly. 21-3, Chiefs in the lead. Alex Smith in the pocket throws a little pump fake and scurries out of the pocket towards the sideline, crosses the first down marker. After that, Alex Smith again, he takes the snap but gets bum rushed by the Raiders defense and the ball is stripped. Raiders recovered. Now Derek Carr drops back and sees Amari Cooper deep, but Cooper misjudges the ball and can't make the catch. What a huge missed opportunity. Last play of the game, Raiders in scoring position. Carr lofts it up to Andre Holmes in the end zone, but it's swatted away by Marcus Peters. Chiefs get the win over the Raiders, 21-13.
Colts and Texans in Indianapolis. Andrew Luck calls his own number on 3rd and 3 here early in the first quarter. Runs for 33 yards and finally gets out of bounds. Colts settle for a field goal, take a 3-0 lead. Brock Osweiler then intercepted in the second quarter by Akeem Ayers. Takes it all the way into Houston territory, but the Colts don't score. Nick Novak would later kick a field goal for Houston, game tied at 3. Houston then takes the lead on Lamar Miller's 1-yard touchdown run. 10-3 Houston. They led 13-3 at the half. Colts' first drive of the second half. Andrew Luck looking, and he's intercepted by Andre Howell. He's looking for Jack Doyle, but clearly threw it to the wrong team. Howell takes us all the way into Indianapolis territory. Nick Novak kicks another field goal. Houston leads 22-17. Will end up winning by that final score as that last pass by Andrew Luck falls short.
I must say that weekend really shook up the divisional leaders. We saw the Chiefs bounce the Raiders out to take the lead in the AFC West. Who would you say is the person to beat in the AFC right now?
I gotta think the team to beat right now is still the Patriots with Tom Brady and his host of whoever he's going to throw the ball to week to week. Whether it's Chris Hogan this week who went off, you still got Julian Edelman, Martellus Bennett's a great tight end, and now people are finally getting to see that without Rob Gronkowski for the Patriots. But I think you still got to watch out for Kansas City because Tyreek Hill is having a Devin Hester type season. With what he's been able to do offensively for KC.
Absolutely, yeah. The AFC West, the AFC is still just wide open to any team who wants to try to sneak in there.
Yeah, so Colby, who do you think is going to make the playoffs? Do you think those top 6 are going to stay the way they are?
I mean, I think they might stay. The Chiefs, they're the sleepers. They're forced to be reckoned with. The Patriots, of course, I think they're going to stay there. They've been dominant all year, especially with Tom Brady missing the first 4 weeks. And I have maybe I think the Titans and the Texans are definitely going to make it.
I was going to say the one thing about that top 6 that I was going to keep the same or one thing I would change would be that 4 seed. I think the Titans are going to win the AFC South over Houston just because I think they're playing better than the Texans, and I think their quarterback Marcus Mariota is playing better than Brock Osweiler.
Absolutely. So you see all those teams in the hunt. Who do you think sneaks in there?
Well, again, I think it's Tennessee. I think the Titans, with the way they're playing right now, they've won 2 in a row. They're really finding their stride, and I think with Brock Osweiler and how shaky he's been at quarterback for the Texans, I think the Titans could sneak in there.
All right, enough about the AFC. How about you tell us a little bit about the NFC?
All right, the NFC, and we'll start in the NFC East, where the Cowboys had a chance to clinch the East Sunday night at MetLife Stadium. In order to do it, they'd have to beat the Giants, who they lost to in Week 1. Dallas gets out to a 7-0 lead here on a touchdown pass. Dak Prescott to Terrence Williams. Eli Manning struggled in the first half. There he's sacked and fumbled. Dallas recovers. Dan Bailey here at the end of the first half, the chance for a 55-yard field goal, hits the crossbar, could be key here later in the game. Bailey thought he had it. So close. Robbie Gould here early in the third quarter with a 39-yard field goal, puts the Giants on the board, makes it 7-3. After a Dak Prescott interception, Eli Manning to Odell Beckham Jr., who runs 61 yards for the touchdown. Giants go ahead 10-7.
What's some nice dance moves?
Nice dance there.
Nice moonwalk.
Giants win 10-7. Janoris Jenkins there had an interception and a forced fumble. Giants move to 9-4, stay alive in the NFC.
All right, here we see the first quarter. Aaron Rodgers with the ball absolutely slings it up the field to Devontae Adams as he loses a defender, runs it into the end zone. Packers up 7-0. Second quarter coming up. Russell Wilson, he's in the pocket. He looks for Jimmy Graham in the middle, but Morgan Burnett picks it off. The first of many interceptions thrown by Russell Wilson. Wilson again in the pocket, gets rushed by the Packers defense, but he's dragged down by Deion Lowry for the sack. Wilson again thinks he sees an open man, but it bounces off the back of Ladarius Gunter. Intercepted by Quentin Rollins. That steals the win for the Packers as they beat the Seahawks 38-10. Talk about a cold one in Lambeau.
All that snow before the game. And you look at the NFC playoff picture here at Colby, the Seahawks. You know, they blew out Carolina the week before on Sunday Night Football, and then they go out and lay an egg against Green Bay. They're still atop a pretty soft NFC West, but you look at the division leaders. Do any of them look a little soft to you?
I mean, I must say the Lions, though great team and they're on a roll right now, they're looking pretty soft. They might be the team who might get bounced out of the top spot in their division. What are your thoughts?
I mean, you look at the Lions 9-4. They've won 5 in a row, but they still end the year at the Giants, at the Cowboys, home against Green Bay. I mean, the Lions have had a history to Lions on themselves. Maybe they spit the bit here at the end of the year, finish 9-7, gives Green Bay a chance to come back and win the division because they still have games against the Lions and Chicago.
I absolutely think the NFC is wide open. What are your predictions on the playoff?
I think
standings.
To be honest, I think those six. I think you might find a way to see Green Bay come back and win the NFC North over Detroit. I think Detroit might find themselves out of the playoffs after Week 17, which means you could see the Redskins come back in. They still have games against Carolina and the Bears as well. Chance for them to maybe finish 10-5-1 or at least 9-6-1.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to agree. I still think the NFC is wide open. Anyone could sneak their way in there. Dallas losing to the Giants. The Giants are on the come up right now. Don't sleep on them. I have them going to the NFC Championship against Dallas. What are your thoughts?
I think Dallas is a team to beat as well, but still, Seattle has a soft schedule. They could finish their way and get a 2 seed.
Absolutely. We'll be taking a look at the playoff chase. Now let's take a quick break. Coming right up, we'll be taking a look at the top 5 and not top 5 plays of the weekends. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Goal Line Stand. With all those great games we saw this weekend, we were also given some fantastic plays.
From breathtaking special teams plays to a literal heads-up run, these are the top 5 plays from Week 14 in the NFL. We start in Kansas City with the Chiefs and the Raiders. Tyreek Hill's 78-yard punt return for a touchdown. A play so nice, we're showing it twice. Tyreek Hill becomes the first rookie since Gale Sayers in 1965 to score a touchdown 4 different ways in the same year.
He definitely turned on the burners for that one.
Whoop. Deeks the punter.
All right, Stephon Diggs of the Vikings. Is it a bird? It's a plane. It's Stephon Diggs right there. Across the middle, just leaps for it. Glorious. Love seeing plays like those.
Segue with birds. Vic Beasley of the Falcons sacks Jared Goff, forces a fumble, recovers the loose ball, and scores. Falcons stay atop the NFC South with an easy win in LA. Jared Goff just never saw 44 coming.
Come on, Goff. Up next, number 2, Bucks after they punt the ball to the Saints. Saints let it go, but the Bucks come flying out of nowhere, tiptoeing on the goal line, playing a little hot potato right there, touch the ball on the 1-yard line. Bucks end up winning that game.
And number 1, Jonathan Stewart of the Carolina Panthers. Looks like this should be a normal 10-yard run, lands on his head, but he's not down by contact. Picks up another 10 yards. As you see here, Joseph Aday of the San Diego Chargers tries to take him down, but Stewart's head lands on his foot, so he's not down yet.
That was a textbook flip right there if I've ever seen one.
It was fantastic. The heads-up play there to not play until the whistle to pick up the extra 10 yards, that was quite something.
And Bucks touching that punt on the 1-yard line?
The best thing was the one player for Tampa Bay who's trying to fly into the end zone, and he doesn't even come close to touching the football.
Absolute whiff. I love that. It threw it right behind him. A player was right there. Like they knew it was a true up. Well, along with those top plays, we were also given some not top plays. Depending on who your team is, they were something you could either laugh at or plays that broke your heart. Let's dive into it. Number 5, the Bengals shank the extra point attempt after a touchdown. It is picked up by the Browns. But it looks like they're playing some backyard football out there with all the laterals. All this over just a little extra point. More from the Browns coming up after this.
Got to get some lift on that kick, Mike Nugent.
You got to hold on to the ball.
Number 4, Russell Wilson looking for Jermaine Kearse, but instead it's picked off the back of Ladarius Gunter to Quentin Rollins. Wilson's 5th interception of the game.
What do you know? The Browns again. RG3 throws it to a wide open Vitale. Butterfingers, he just can't even hold on to the ball. He's wide open. He could have strutted his stuff. Live look at Browns fans right there.
Number 2, opening kickoff of Falcons at the Rams. Mike Thomas for Los Angeles is in the end zone. Takes his eyes off the ball. Doesn't even fall on the football. Atlanta recovers. They'll score easily. They'll win easily. Got to catch the football, man.
You will be missed, Jeff Fisher. You will be missed. And at number 1, we see Ryan Tannehill taking the snap and looks for the screen pass, but his arm, absolute noodle, and he throws it nowhere near the receiver. A loss of 15 yards right there. That coach's look right there, look of pure disappointment. Dolphins lose the game and their quarterback since Tannehill he sprained his ACL and MCL.
Yeah, it's tough when you miss a screen pass by 10 yards that way.
Not even that, the throw right there, but the Browns, the tight end dropping that ball right there, the Browns could have used those 6 points.
Also could use the other 2, returning that missed extra point by Mike Nugent, who can't believe you're a kicker. Put some air under the football.
I mean, the holder, too, he caught it but couldn't place it. Could not place the ball.
It's just unbelievable. Bad year for kickers so far, at least the last couple weeks at least.
Absolutely.
It's time for our final break, but don't go anywhere because our long-awaited Super Bowl predictions are coming up. Don't touch the remote because we're going to be right back.
Goal Line Stand is brought to you by Pepsi Cola. Enjoy the smooth taste of all Pepsi products. Pepsi, the joy of Pepsi. Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi.
Welcome back to the final segment of this week's edition of Goal Line Stand.
With the regular season coming to an end in less than a month, let's take a look at our Super Bowl predictions.
Colby, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys against the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 51. I think Dallas can win the NFC because they can control the line of scrimmage better than anybody else in the conference. With the running game of Ezekiel Elliott, they'll control time of possession, they'll control the line of scrimmage, and I think they'll take out anybody else in the conference this year. I think it's Dallas's year. The Patriots, again, the same way, but it's different with them because it's more of a passing offense with Tom Brady. I think their defense can do just enough. I think that's going to be a great Super Bowl.
I'm right there with you with the Patriots, but my prediction, I got Patriots facing off against the New York Giants, a little rematch of the past couple Super Bowls. Patriots are hungry for this one. Tom Brady at the 4-game suspension, it's been killing him. He wants to show the league that he's an innocent man, he's still the best to ever do it, and he wants to get that thumb ring. He wants to add number 5 onto the list and bring another one home to Gillette Stadium. I mean, who do you have? Do you have the Giants in the NFC Championship?
I think the Giants can make the NFC Championship game. And again, it'll go down to seeding and everything if they can play the Cowboys game. But I think the Cowboys are the class of the NFC.
Well, I just know it's going to be a great Super Bowl to watch. That's all the time that we have for this week. Thanks a lot for tuning into the show. On behalf of my partner, Mike Haase, I'm Colby Nolan. Thanks for tuning in.